Alright, so hello Astro Bros viewers. This is going to be a pretty short video um, as a break from my Nakshatra Lunar Mansion series, which I'm still definitely working on, so you'll see another video when I have the time to make it. This is going to be a video about how to use astrology in your day-to-day life such that it influences your actions and your behavior and ultimately enhances your life. So, because I realized I was basically talking a lot about astrology and the meanings of certain things, like your sun sign, your ascendant, which are very important, and knowing the framework that you're dealing with is very important for building like integrating this into your life path. But I didn't tell you how to use it. And, maybe it's an assumption because I've been practicing this for a while that you might already know, but I know a lot of people are just getting into this kind of thing or just poking around the internet looking for new philosophies because maybe they're not satisfied with the way their lives are going. So they're looking for weird answers. I know that would be a familiar path to me. So, there are many ways to use astrology to maximum advantage. Infinite, really, as infinite as the combinations and planets and houses and nakshatras and hours and weeks and all this shit, transits, relationships, synastries, everything that exists inside your chart is unique to you. And the further you get into astrology, which as far as I can tell is an infinite rabbit hole, but the further you get into it, the more you realize how exactly unique your natal chart is in its authenticity and just originality, and how specific it is to you as an individual. That being said, there are some basic tactics that I think work cross person for everybody, basically. So here is that. Now, again, this is not meant to be like, this is kind of like flex tape. This is not meant to be a fix-all. This is a temporary fix, but if you don't know how to use your chart, this is a very, very good way to do it. Okay, so step one, look at where Jupiter is, like right now, currently, in your chart. Look at your ascendant. Whatever house Jupiter is going over, whatever house it's transiting, that is going to be an area of learning through expansion. You are going to be learning and accelerating in that area of your life. So if, let's say, for example, Jupiter is going through your fourth house and your fourth house is Taurus, your primary positive objective is going to be to beautify, organize, and stabilize your home. And you are going to have to focus on money. You're going to have to focus on like work, probably. You're going to have to focus on your routine, your health, the types of meals you make, the type of artwork you have in your home. All this stuff is going to be, you're going to have a spotlight put on it. Now, Jupiter changes every year. It changes signs roughly every year. And it takes 12 years to do the full cycle. So, step one, bear in mind where Jupiter is in your house system and what sign it's in. Because everybody has Jupiter transiting in the same sign, because obviously it's there right now. But your house system is going to specifically point to how that's going to impact you. Now, step two, look at where Saturn is transiting. And Saturn has kind of a weird orbit from our perspective here on Earth, which is what astrology relates to. But so Saturn basically it enters a sign roughly a year into that transit. It goes retrograde for about 5 months, and then another year, and it goes back again, and then it finishes out the cycle 2.5 years later. 2.5 years since it entered that sign. So each transit lasts 2.5 years. The entire 12 sign cycle lasts about 30 years. Saturn is going to bring delays, but it's going to highlight your weaknesses in the area of your life, of your ascendant, of your chart, your house system, where it's transiting. So, if Saturn is transiting in your third house, for instance, you're going to have to focus on, you're going to be very critical of your friends and your friend circles, and it's going to, you're going to be critical of your voice and your speech and the types of words you use and your education and all this stuff related to the third house. And that's going to prompt you, that anxiety and that criticism is going to prompt you to work on that house and ultimately make it better. Now, before the first retrograde in the Saturn transit, you're going to be like, the anxiety and the area of malcontent is going to be highlighted for you. And you're going to think up solutions to that anxiety that you could possibly implement during the first retrograde. And then you're going to be faced with a new problem when it goes direct. And then you're going to think up possible solutions to that during the next retrograde. And then when Saturn is in its last little 6-month spree or few months spree at the end of the sign, you get the reward in proportion to how much you actually worked on what Saturn was trying to do for you. Or what it was pointing out. Like the work you put into where it was making you anxious, basically. So that wraps up basically every year you've got a new Jupiter assignment, let's say. And every 2.5 years you've got a new Saturn problem to fix. Every 2.5 years. Now, what do you do every day? So every day, obviously you've got your routine. You're going to look to the 6th house for that. You're going to look to the 10th house for that, how you spend your time in the day. Because the 6th house and the 10th house are the best predictors of what you're going to do as a basic, like, overarching job type thing. And because the 6th house and the 10th house are ruled by Saturn and Mercury, respectively, Saturn rules the 10th house, Mercury rules the 6th house, you're going to want to look at, these planets where they are, like what sign they're in, because that's going to lend a particular flavor to your 6th and 10th house. So that being said, for each day, try as best as you can, if you want maximum results, to match your behavior to, one, the ascendant, the rotating pattern of the ascendant as it goes through the day. So, for instance, and the ascendant goes retrograde. So the first house is sunrise, and then the 12th house is morning, going to the 10th house, which is daytime, which is why it represents your work, what you do during the day. Typically, most people work during the day. 7th house is evening, 6th house is sunset, that kind of thing. So you want to look at that, specifically the 10th house, because that's the biggest house in the middle of the day. You want to look at where the sun is currently, because that's going to shine a spotlight on what you're going to be trying to do that month. So in the same way that Jupiter gives you fucking idiot. Anyway, in the same way that Jupiter gives you your yearly assignment, the sun is going to give you your monthly assignment. And if you want a daily assignment, so to speak, look at the moon and look at the passage of time through the ascendant. What house are you in throughout the day? What time of day is it? What do you feel like? The moon is going to determine your reaction to things. The path of the day in its repeating fashion is going to sort of be your baseline for daily behavior, your daily routine. So basically, in short, if you want your yearly goal, look at Jupiter. If you want your 2.5 yearly goal, look at the transit of Saturn. If you want your monthly sort of sub-focus, look at the sun. And if you want your daily sub-focus, look at the moon where it is, and look at the cycle of the ascendant as it goes around, and you follow it around your day, getting up in the morning, going and doing your thing at noon or around the midday time, going home around the evening time or whatever. But if you want to match your life up in accordance with your goals, I strongly recommend you follow these patterns to the best of your ability: the yearly pattern, the 2.5 yearly pattern, the monthly pattern, the daily pattern. And as always, keep learning, because obviously this is not a one-size-fits-all scenario, but according to the core doctrine of Hermeticism, your life ends up the best when you're following your own natural rhythms. And your own natural rhythms that's basically what astrology is. It's your own natural rhythm. So, and understanding that, putting it in English, translating it from the purely abstract, mental, unconscious space into the conscious, articulate space. And so that concludes this video. I hope you find it helpful. If you have any questions, I know this stuff is confusing, please drop it in the comments and I'll answer as soon as I can. Thank you.